Hi, I'm Ivory.
I'm Antoinette.
And this is Black Girls with No Rhythm.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We are happy to be back.
Yes, we are. I just would like to thank you all for being supportive to myself and my family during this time while we grieve my grandmother. I know we were supposed to have so many more Christmas episodes, but I just wasn't in the mood to record. So I appreciate Antoinette for being patient with me, and I appreciate you guys for being patient with us.
And I think nobody would expect you to be in the mind to record when you just lost your grandma unexpectedly.
Yeah, I just was not in the mood.
Yeah, I think everybody understands. We do appreciate our loyal fans who are waiting on us to record but understood why we were taking the time off.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today?
We are going to jump right into the surviving R. Kelly, which I think I went through every emotion you can go through watching something. I was sad, I was disappointed, I was angry. But then the crazy part was, and I know this is going to sound so crazy, but I listened to his 19-minute song, and a part of me felt bad, but then I had to snap out of it, and I think that's where a lot of people are, because it's R. Kelly. And
I haven't listened to the song, but what about the song made you feel bad for him?
I just felt not bad. I felt sorry for him, even though everything that is happening to him is his fault. But he's literally getting ready to lose everything, and he should lose everything. But I think just for like a quick split second, that mother in me or that nurture in me or whatever it is was just like, dang, he about to lose everything. He about to be homeless, because he's not gonna go to jail. That's not gonna happen. I don't think him going to jail is an option at this point. But I think financially he's gonna lose everything and be homeless.
So did you feel sorry for him when they spoke about him possibly being molested as a child, and his brother also being molested, and him being introduced to sex at such an early age? And did you feel sorry for him at that point also?
And the fact that he can't read or write, and I just feel like his circumstances as a child is what groomed him into this monster he is today.
And I believe that to be true, because our childhood is the foundations of who we are.
Yeah.
I talk about that a lot with my mom, and I think we talked about it before. What happens to you as an adolescent determines who you're going to be when you grow up. So I could see, I do feel extremely bad for the things that he went through, because no 7, 8, 9-year-old should be introduced to sex,
the way he was.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But that doesn't excuse his behavior now, because now he's a full adult. And before I watched the Surviving R. Kelly documentary, I was the person that was like, I'm not going to download his music, but if it comes on my playlist, I'm not going to skip the song. Or if it comes on the radio, I'm not going to change the station. After watching it, I would skip the song and I would change the station.
We talked about that just the other day when we was on the phone in the car. And I was like, so I'm not going to stream it. However, I listened to it. But it was certain parts in the documentary where they spoke about, like, when certain songs were being recorded,
exactly,
he would be having sex with girls, or these girls would be on the tour bus. And that was one of the things I wanted to speak about. They were saying you can't separate the person from the artist. I mean, no, they were saying that you should separate the person from the artist. Like, how do you separate the person from the artist when the inspiration behind the song is who the person is?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I think that's where I went with it, and why I can't listen to his music, because now I'm going to always think about the fact that while you were recording this song or performing this song, you had a little girl locked in your trailer, or you had a woman locked in your house in isolation or on punishment, starving because of the man that you are, the person that you are. Forget the artist. Now that you made them one. You made them one because you wrote songs about what you were doing to people.
He told the Hispanic girl, Lizette, that when he wrote the song for Michael Jackson, "You're Not Alone," that the song was about her. And everybody sings that song. That's a huge song, "You Are Not Alone." And to think about the fact that he made that the inspiration behind that song was him having this little 17-year-old girl, because he met her at 17 in the mall. So the inspiration behind that was keeping this little girl trapped in a bedroom in isolation,
away from her family and her friends. And another thing that got me to thinking about this was when he was talking about the Michael Jackson thing. Remember, Michael Jackson had a lot of scandals around him and little boys, and we brushed it under the rug. Like, we ignored the fact that Michael Jackson had all of these little boys accusing him of molesting them, and we just was like, because
But
I'm not
I
gonna
think
I believe
that with
it.
the Michael Jackson thing, I
wish
don't
y'all could see
believe it.
Yes, you do.
No, I
Like,
really
this
know.
man
No,
had
I
a whole amusement park and had sleepovers at his house with little boys. This grown man had an amusement park at his house and had sleepovers with little boys. Come on, Ivory.
But the thing is, just like these women are coming out speaking against R. Kelly, and have been speaking out against R. Kelly for years, these allegations aren't anything new. The people that spoke out about Michael Jackson, they coming back years later saying that they were coerced and their parents told them to say this and that and the third to get money. So it's not the same thing. Here these women are telling you we are victims, we survived this man. But with Michael Jackson right now, you pull me anybody who will sit here and say Michael Jackson touched me when I was a child.
I think Michael Jackson paid off everybody and everybody had to sign a non-disclosure. And I think he stopped. I'm going to say that. I don't think that he, like, once he got into that trouble the last time where he was, like, in the courts about it and it was, like, a really big thing, you didn't hear anything else after that. Mm-hmm. Whereas then R. Kelly has been going on forever and ever. And like you just said, you do have situations where you like, that's Michael Jackson. I don't really want to believe that happened. But we really don't know. Mm-hmm. We really don't know if it happened or not. That
because
was just
even with the whole thing with the amusement park, and I hate to bring this up because one has nothing to do with the other, but like I like to compare like Lil Wayne to Michael Jackson because these are two young people who came out as young people who never had a chance to be children, and the older they got, the more childish they got. This man waited till he became over 30 years old to be at a skateboard park. Like, come on, what's
he's not inviting little boys to have sleepovers?
No,
at his
he's
house.
not. But he's living the childhood, and that's how I explain the amusement park.
Okay,
I can't explain the little sleepovers. Okay. I have no explanation for that. However, you got to give me something other than amusement park. You know what I'm saying?
The sleepover. Yeah. Forget the amusement park. He had sleepovers. We gonna ignore it. Okay, I didn't bring up the amusement park. Which you gonna deny the fact that he had sleepovers with little boys?
I'm not well versed in the. Okay. No, seriously, I don't know enough to make a valid argument. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I shouldn't say I believe him. I don't know enough about the situation.
Okay, all right, I can take that. But back to R. Kelly and the surviving R. Kelly thing. I think the part that hurt me the most throughout this whole documentary is when one of the journalists said that if these were white girls, we wouldn't be going through this. R. Kelly would have been in jail, but because they're little black girls and black girls aren't seen as innocent, that's why the black community is blaming the girl, not the man. Mm-hmm. That hurt my feelings to the point where I like literally cried because it's so true. Mm-hmm. To where even when I was younger and the sex tape came out and I watched it, and I remember thinking in my head that little girl was fast. Not that this grown man was taking advantage of a little girl, but that little girl was fast and she ain't had no business to be there. Like, I blamed the little girl, so it hurt so bad when he said that because it's so true.
Yeah, it is. Like, one of the people in the video was like, where was the outrage? Like, where was Ebony? Where was Jet? Where were all these black outlets? Where was BET? Where was MTV? Why wasn't anybody reporting on the fact that it's a sex tape out and this man is just like on tour? They say
he was on tour.
The year that it broke, 2002, he was singing the national anthem at the Olympics. Like, how can you just have been indicted on child pornography charges with you not only just watching tapes, but you being the main person in the tape, but yet and still you're singing the national anthem for America at the Olympics. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, that's ridiculous.
And then he pushed it off so far, so where by the time...
6
years later before he actually went to court for it.
Yes.
And another thing about that bothered me was the fact that he threw his brother under the bus. Why would you say that was your brother? So then his brother's daughter got stumped by like 15 girls because they were saying that, you know, her dad was a child molester. Like, why would you throw your brother under the bus? But that's even his wife was saying that, like, the daughters couldn't sit with people at lunch because they was telling them that their daddy was a child molester and raping little girls.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that whole...
And then his other brother, the one that's in jail with his ignorant ass, he all in
girl.
there like, I don't know why my brother just didn't take the money.
He'll
Like,
be rich right now. Like,
shit. He
that's why
didn't
you
even
in
offer
jail.
him $1 million. He offered him like $100,000. He said about he'll be rich. Like, nigga,
That's
you
exactly why you
fuck.
sitting in jail right now, because
Girl,
that's what
that
you
shit
think.
pissed me off. I was like, this old dumbass motherfucker.
That I was mad about that. But then, because he even the brother who he accused even said that the stuff that he was saying that he didn't know to be true. He was just saying it because of stuff that he heard.
Yeah, because you didn't even defend me. Even though your lawyer's the one made those allegations, you could step down and be like, hey, nah, we ain't finna do this to my brother. But you're so willing to try to defend yourself. But
he talked about his brother in his 19-minute song too.
What he say, girl?
That his mama is rolling over in her grave right now, because they're not close, but it's their fault because they're supposed to have his back and they didn't. So basically, he blaming everybody else for trying to bring his demons to the light. It's basically what he doing.
His brother gonna say everybody got a preference. I like older women, so why he just can't like younger women? I was like,
that's not okay,
idiot.
But the crazy thing is, that's how so many black men think. Like, there's so many black men out here that will look at a 16-year-old girl or a 14-year-old little girl and think in their head that it's okay for them to be with her.
When I was 17, I had a 30-year-old boyfriend.
And he wasn't even R. Kelly. But you got women out here that's mad at the female for the fact that these little girls are with... He's R. Kelly.
So what is the age of consent? Because a lot of these women that he's dealing with now, they're at 19, 20. You know what I'm saying? So what is the age of consent? You know?
Well, in different states, it's either 17 or 18. But when everything first came out, and I was like, I'ma still listen to R. Kelly because now the women that he's with are of age. You know what I mean? Like, so now they're considering they're not little girls, but after listening to it and seeing...
You have an 18-year-old.
I do, and I told her that we will never go anywhere near R. Kelly anything. If R. Kelly is in Atlanta, we gonna stay in Douglasville. Like, we not even gonna chance the fact of us running into him. And she's 18, because even though they're adults, I don't think that they're willing. I don't think that they understand what they're getting into. He's manipulating them into thinking that I'm R. Kelly and I can make your... Because all of them are like aspiring singers or something like that.
Because like the girl Dominique, she's not an aspiring singer. She was just a fan.
But she was young though.
But yeah, so that's what I was just gonna say. So she got with him when she was like 17, 18.
Right.
She had been with him for 10 years. So here it is now. At this point, she's almost 30 years old. And she has been with this man for this long. The girl who he was in the tape with, she was with him when he was when she was what, 13?
13 or 14.
13 or 14. And one of the girls had said that he introduced her to her. So here
Years
it is.
later.
We had a whole trial about this. She's the reason all of this stuff came out to light, and she is still in a relationship with this man.
And that's Sparkle's niece, and she even said she stopped talking to her family for over 10 years because they said that it wasn't her, and she wouldn't, and her parents would not come forth to say that it was her. And her brother got on stand and said that it wasn't the niece. And she was like, for the life of her, she couldn't understand why. She was like, she doesn't know if they got paid off or not. She don't know why they did it. She had to stop talking to them because of that, because she just could not understand why you all are okay with the fact that your daughter, your niece, is having sex with this grown ass man and y'all not doing anything.
Yeah.
But there's so many black families that would have done the same thing that they did.
Because it's R. Kelly.
But it don't even have to be R. Kelly.
Right.
That's the sad part about it. It doesn't even have to be R. Kelly. So people are trying to come and say that, oh, these little girls are grown and these little girls are this. These are happening to everyday women. This is R. Kelly. This is a legend. He goes after super fans that are weak-minded.
So what do you think about the people who blame the female? You know, like, it's so many people up and down my timeline like, oh, she should have known better. Oh, no, okay, I ain't gonna even talk about the people who blame the female yet. Let's talk about the people who say that this is just a plot for the people to bring down the black man.
They're ignorant.
Girl, like, oh my goodness. We're not talking about Harvey Weinstein. We're not talking about Bill Cosby, because we know Bill Cosby drugged them women.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So we know that R. Kelly is having sex with little girls. So how is this a plot to bring down the black man when he doing this to himself? We want to step up here and call out black women, oh, she the queen this, she the queen that. But then when R. Kelly fucking your 13-year-old niece, oh, she fast, she this and third. How
is that a thing?
How is that okay? I just don't get it. And the sad part is, it's women. It's mainly women. Yep. How
African American women.
What if this was your daughter?
They would call their daughter fast.
You're right.
That's exactly what they would do. They would call her daughter. Their daughter would be fast, and it would be, that's R. Kelly and I think some of these same women that are talking about it probably was like, girl, you having sex with R. Kelly. Sit down and shut up somewhere.
Exactly. You better be glad you fucking R. Kelly.
Yeah.
It's all good till he pee on your ass.
And they might even tell her to shut up and take the pee.
And that's the thing. This man publicly humiliated you. People seen this man urinate on you when you was 14 years old. And all these years later, you can still be with this man.
But the way that they described him and how good he is with playing mind tricks and controlling women, because it's all mental. I've only seen but heard about one story where somebody tried to get away, and that was the can't remember her name. Azrael, yeah. Where she tried to get away and they brought her back. All the other women said that they just packed the bag one day and left. They just got to the point where they were done and they couldn't take anymore, and they mentally had to tell themselves that we're done and we leave.
Yeah, because
he doesn't stop them. It doesn't seem like, other than the one situation. Because
even the girl said that if he had called her, she would have came back.
And she would have answered the phone.
Yeah, he didn't even answer the phone when she called, so that's the only reason she left.
It's not as if he's physically, I don't think anyway, he's physically keeping them there, but I think that he has them so mentally messed up that they feel like that's where they're supposed to be, and they deserve what he's getting. And if they just were to act better or not do stuff to make him mad, then they will be okay. And it's just as crazy to me, because you have grown women now who are with men that don't have jobs or don't make nearly, or don't have the status that R. Kelly has, or the money that he has, and he manipulating you all into staying with him, but you gonna go blame this little girl when your man cheating on you right now?
Why she just didn't leave? Why you
ain't leave?
You didn't leave that broke ass nigga who you messing with.
Man, ain't he cheating on you and you know it?
But you trying to figure out why this little young girl who don't know no better, he was taking girls' virginity. Think about the mind control that the nigga who took your virginity had over you.
I don't understand. And I guess I was probably them at one point, younger, much younger. I was them, and I thought it was the girl, and the girl was fast. But the older you get and the more you realize, that's why I wore my woke as fuck shirt today. Because it's like when you sit down and you really think about stuff and you really pay attention to your surroundings, you will realize that it's the man's fault. It is not that little girl's fault. And another thing is, we can't control the fact that as African American girls, we develop. We have butts, we have breasts at 14. Not all of us, but some of us do. That's not our fault. But the thicker you are, the more you have developed. No matter how young you are, you can be fully dressed and you still gonna be grown.
And the thing is, a lot of times, like the girl said, her mama was at work or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
She's a single parent.
Yeah, her mama didn't know she was going down to that trial.
She was going to the trial. He picked that lady. He picked her up while he was on trial for pornography and about to go to jail.
And I get it, because my mama was at work all those times of night too, and she didn't know what I was doing. I could have very well been doing the same thing that little girl was doing, and my mama would have never had the clue, because she was out here being a mama. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that it's the mama fault. She's just trying to raise her children.
I was brought up in a 2-parent household, and I still got pregnant at 17.
Exactly.
There's no way.
Because your parent can't be there all the time.
There's no way that your parents can be with you 100% of the time.
Aaliyah parents came out and said that there's no way that girl could have seen R. Kelly having sex with their daughter because they was with her all the time. How can you say that when this woman went and got a whole fake marriage on y'all?
And you didn't even know.
That man said he had documents forged and everything. So where were you when all that was going down?
Because it didn't, from what it sounded like, they didn't know about the marriage until after they got married.
Exactly, but that means you're not with her all the time.
Exactly. So it's I'm pretty sure you weren't on that tour bus when it happened. So you don't know what happened.
Yeah.
You weren't in the studio every time they were recording, so sit down.
These people used to dress alike, girl. Did you see the pictures and stuff? Like, you dress like it. And what type of grown man is not offended? If you stood up here and say, if you accuse my husband or any other man that I know of having relationships with a teenager, they're going to be offended. There's going to be like, what the fuck? How you going to say something like that? But he was just like, oh, nah, that's just my friend. Like, come on.
And like, they had like Mickey Mouse outfits or something crazy.
Yeah, that little player Mickey Mouse had, honey.
I just don't understand.
But she was like, that's just my best friend. Like, how is a grown ass man your best friend?
Because she was 15 and he was 27?
Yeah, that when they was asking her how old she was like, that's a secret. Girl, your mama's like, what type of parent is gonna allow you to tell that's a secret? No, she 15.
Exactly. I just wish that we would stop blaming the victim. That's what I wish that we would stop blaming the child for something that a grown man is doing. But that's always
what they say. She fast as hell with her little fast ass. She should have did this. She should never did that.
She shouldn't have wore that. That's the biggest thing is she shouldn't have had that on.
We always blame the child.
So what you expect the man to do when you walk around with these little shorts on? Not be attracted to a little girl? But that's just too much to ask of a black man to not be attracted to a little girl. But
it's her fault she got breasts.
But the thing is, I think they were saying that if the women in the situation were white, R. Kelly wouldn't be going through this. But if the man in the situation was white and the kids were black, I think it would be the same thing. I don't think a white man would have been able to get away with it for as long, because I don't think we would have been okay with a white man messing with our black girls. But because it's a black man and black girls, we're okay with it. We gonna just let it slide and let it go on by this way. And we gonna blame the little girl.
I agree.
And now, even these grown women that are going, I don't even blame them. Because the one girl was like, she was a super fan. She would kick you out of her house if you said something bad about R. Kelly. And then when she finally got to meet him, she was in awe. Like, people are forgetting that some women idolize celebrities.
The girl Kitty was a whole radio show host.
And she left her job.
This woman had a career.
Yeah, but it's like, and I know men to this day right now who can manipulate a woman into doing anything.
Yeah.
And they are not R. Kelly.
And they be broke as fuck.
And they be broke. And they may have a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But they can still manipulate.
And they control them with the money. Yeah.
So it's like, how are we expecting these women to be any different from any average woman messing with any average man?
Especially when the culture condones it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just allow it to go on and on and on. And like, even right now with all this going on, there are not a lot of celebrities that have stood up and said, this is not okay. We will not tolerate this. I was surprised to see John Legend on the documentary, and I was proud of that. And even Charlamagne ignorant ass, because I don't fuck with him.
Chance the Rapper came. Did you see where he apologized for doing the song? Mm-hmm. He was on there. He apologized.
I wonder
for
what Beyonce husband go say.
I don't think he gonna come out and say anything. I think
he's not gonna say.
He gonna stay neutral in this whole situation. I don't think Jay-Z is gonna, because they already had their beef and they're falling out. So I think he gonna stay.
Did?
Yeah, you know, when the tour happened and they had to cancel the tour because R. Kelly was acting like a little girl.
Oh, okay.
And they remember R. Kelly calling a bomb threat at one of the arenas, and they had to evacuate because he didn't want to perform. Like, they had a whole thing when they were doing their R. Kelly and Jay-Z tour. I think it was like the King of Hip Hop and the King of R&B or something like that was the tour name. But yeah,
I remember some Hazley.
Yeah, and Jay-Z was like, R. Kelly just has too many yes men around him, which from the documentary sounds like it's very true, because R. Kelly can't read, so he has people read stuff to him, and they were lying about what the tweets and what the articles and stuff were saying to make it look like he was being praised when he was really being talked about. Like, that's a messed up type of situation to be in when you have nobody around you that has your back.
Yeah.
Like, everybody around you is yes men and telling you what you want to hear, and I think it's because they're scared. They're gonna lose their job. But when his money runs out, he's over, because he can't pay security.
He already running out of money, because you see that he got evicted out of the houses in
when his
John
money is
Creek.
complete. I think he got 23 lawyers and 4 managers, what he said on his 19 minutes.
He need them.
I admit, or something like that, I think it's called. But like, when all that money runs out and you can no longer pay these people, what are you gonna do? Mm-hmm. Did you see the sex tape?
No, I have never seen it.
How
You seen?
old? Oh, you were.
No, I was not that young. Well, I was young, but I was old enough to know what was going on.
I watched it at work because back then we had the VHS tapes, and I was a manager, and we had a TV, and we used to watch our training videos on these tapes. You know, like in the school. I don't know.
I know.
You know, like I don't know. You much younger than me, but you used to have to pull the old.
Yeah, we had that.
So we used to have one of those, and we watched it at work one day. And when I first watched it, I was like, because the quality is horrible. So you can see, but you can't see. So when all the rumors was coming out that was his brother, I was like, that may be his brother. But now they played clips of him on it. I'm like, that's definitely R. Kelly. Another thing I didn't understand is the guy who got the license for the marriage, the one who forged the documents, the assistant. He said that Aaliyah looked at him like she wanted him to pull her to the side and talk to her. I wonder why didn't any of these men or females,
because
for that
they was
matter,
on the payroll, everybody wanted to please R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? He was their boss. Like, they all looked up to him and idolized him.
That's another problem that we have to fix in our community, to where we can see a child being victimized. We can know that a child is being molested, victimized, and all of this stuff, and we'll just turn the other way.
And he's a man. Like, you're a grown man, and you're allowing this to happen.
Yeah, like, you're supposed to protect us, and now he feels sorry and he feel bad. Don't feel bad now.
Exactly, because you allowed this to go on.
You feel bad now that he's not paying you anymore. I just think that's crazy. As black men are supposed to protect black women and black children, and his whole camp, from what I can tell, is black.
And he gonna come to him and say that he came to him and asked him to pray with him because he can't stop recording himself. Like, and we prayed. You mean to like, come on now. Did y'all really just bring God into this?
Come on now.
Did y'all really?
Like, and you just prayed about it and just let him continue to do it.
And let him continue.
We're not going to try to get the tapes. We're not going to try to stop him. We're not going to try to put him in some type of rehab or something. We just going to pray about it and then just let it go.
But what about when the girl said that she had been messing with the girl with him, and then she found out that she was 14 years old?
I'm not going to say I had a problem with her, because she's a survivor. So I'm pretty sure that she was manipulated like everybody else. But even after she found out that girl was 14 years old, I don't know if she continued to mess with her, but she continued to mess with R. Kelly.
She did. She said that was the last time that she had messed with her after she found out.
So, but you didn't leave him.
Because she was brainwashed.
I understand. Like I said, I'm not going to blame her. She had been with him
for all these. She stayed with him for like 4 or 5 years or something like that.
I thought it was longer than that.
Probably.
But then, because she was the one who leaked the tape. She was the one who took the tape because she was on it. Yeah. So my thing is, I wonder what happened to the first part of that tape. Like, that was one of the things that went through my mind, because you were watching the tape, and towards the end of the tape, after you all had got done, you saw him and her, and he was peeing on her. So I wonder what happened to the first part of the tape, and why the only second, yeah. And then they were selling it, and it was a really big thing.
I remember it.
You could go and buy it from the flea markets, and everybody had a tape.
Yep. But I just cannot get over the fact that he's still messing with her. Like, that just blows my mind.
But to me, not so much for me, because I think they okayed it. So it was normalized to her. So now it's like, this is normal. She was 14 when it happened.
Yeah. And
her parents didn't try to remove her from the situation, from what we can tell from the documentary. They didn't try to remove her from it. It's like, they was like, you know what, that's okay. What you're doing is okay. It's normal to her now. So she probably gonna mess with him until she can't. Because that's all she knows.
That's crazy. Because at this point, we always thought the problem was with him and young girls, but obviously he don't care about age.
He don't care about. I think he's controlling. I think that when he got molested as a child, and for those many years, his control was taken from him. So now he's trying to get his control back through controlling other women. And I think that that's what he's doing. And it doesn't matter how old you are, as long as he can control you and keep you. Because think about the fact that he can't read, he can't write. Well, can he write? I don't think he can read. I don't think he can write, and he can't spell that well. The only thing he has is his music, so he has no control anywhere. On his song again, he was like, he signed a lot of contracts and he didn't realize what he was signing. So he signed the rights away to a lot of his music. He doesn't even own the rights to his music because he was signing contracts and had no idea what he was signing. That he didn't have any idea. So the people that were around him at that time were taking advantage of him.
I'm going to listen to his little 19-minute song.
Yeah, so it's like he has no control anywhere else in his life but these women. And I think that's what he's doing. He's trying to get his control back somehow, and versus him going to learn how to read.
But he's ruining people's lives.
Exactly.
Like,
versus him going to go learn how to read. Goddamn, go do that, and you can get your control back.
To teach him how to read.
That was a interesting story.
You don't believe that?
I'm not gonna say I don't believe it. I just
a lot of people got a problem with his wife
because depending on what. Because she was, she did a couple interviews, and her stories start the same, but they don't always end the same.
What you mean? I never really seen an interview from her.
Okay, she was on The View, and I saw The View before I saw the documentary. So on The View, she was saying that she went out on the balcony, she got to the top, and when she looked down, she saw her body in blood, and she saw her kids coming to her. And she was like, God gave her the vision to see herself in that way, and that's what made her leave. But on the show, when she said it, that part wasn't in there at all. She said she got up on the balcony and she had one foot on the wall, but she just said that she got down. She didn't say anything about the vision, and it may have been cut out, I don't know, but I just expected the story to end the same, and it didn't. So that's why I'm a little skeptical.
But we don't know if she didn't say it or if they just chose to omit that part.
We don't know. But then we saw the video of her singing an R. Kelly song. I don't know how old it was. So it's just with her, I just don't know. I believe something happened to her, and who am I to say what part is true and what part isn't true, or the fact that she was singing the R. Kelly song gives her any less credit than any other woman on the show. So I'm gonna just leave it like that with her.
Because even with like somebody as one of his children, do they have a relationship with their father? And the daughter was like, yeah, because at the end of the day, this is still my dad. This is still family. You know what I'm saying? So she still have to deal with her children. She still have to. This is a man who's going to be in her life for the rest of her life.
No matter whether she likes it or not?
Yeah, like, I just feel like she was bold for even taking part in the documentary because I didn't expect her to be a part of that.
Me either. And then she had, like, really good points on why she waited so late to come out and speak forth about her kids and them being able to accept it and being old enough to understand what was happening and what their father was doing and being okay with her talking about it. So I believe that something happened to her. I don't know what happened to any of them, but I believe her.
Yeah, definitely.
But another thing that's just really bothering me about the whole thing is just how women are talking about it on Facebook. Just because
disrespectful towards other women.
So disrespectful. Just because you dated somebody that was twice your age or whatever the situation is, that don't make it okay.
Exactly.
He was still nasty. He was still a pervert. You were not grown, or some of you may have been, I don't know. But if you're 16 and you're dating somebody 29, he is wrong. He is a pervert and you are a child. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, you are not in a situation to make the best decision because you're still a child. So stop trying to normalize the fact that a 29-year-old was messing with you and you knew what you were doing. No, you didn't.
Okay, so we think about somebody like Russell Simmons. You know what I'm saying? Russell Simmons and Kimora. Russell Simmons got with Kimora when she was how old?
I have no idea. I didn't know that day.
Yeah, he started messing with her when she was like, he married her as soon as she turned 18.
So is that like an ongoing thing with him, or did he really just...
He always dates younger women, but just like R. Kelly, he dates women that's over the age of 18, but they're much younger than him.
I think the difference with that situation and R. Kelly is manipulating these women to where they don't have a relationship with their families. He's like...
That's true. He married this woman.
Yeah, he married. Yeah. And even with that, I don't think that he is holding a cult in these women that they're dating, even though that they're legal, they can't communicate with their families. Like, R. Kelly is building a cult where he's mind controlling women and he's keeping them away from everybody that loves them. I don't think that's the situation with Russell Simmons. I think
it's definitely not the situation.
I think he just like young girls and he just wait till they're 18 to date them. Like most older men date younger women, as long as they're legal and as long as you're not keeping them from their families, I don't see anything wrong with that.
So you would be okay.
With Russell Simmons, I think so. I don't know enough about the story, but I'm gonna say, yeah, I don't think that he is. As long as they're legal and he's not trying to keep them away from their family, I'm alright with it.
Yeah, because it's like with the whole R. Kelly thing, how he's keeping them in the closet. Not in the closet.
Trapped in that closet?
Yeah, I was finna say he did make trapped in the closet, but he keeping them trapped in the bedrooms and stuff
Yeah,
like
I think that his is a whole nother. It's not a preference. It's not like he prefers younger women. I think he's just a sick individual who likes to control women.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Oh, okay. So when he was talking about, when he did the interview when he first came out about the fact that he was molested, even in that interview, he was saying that he didn't want to throw his family under the bus, so he wouldn't name names. That part bothered me too, because I just don't understand why that's our thing. Like, why are we okay with not throwing people that have hurt us under the bus
because you
family?
still have people that you don't want to disappoint. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, yeah, it's your story. Yeah, you should be able to come out and say, oh, well, this and that and the third happened to me. But at the end of the day, you don't want to disappoint your mom, your grandma, you know, and it shouldn't be disappointment because it's not your fault. However,
it's like bringing shame on the family.
Yeah,
if
you don't want to be the one
it.
responsible for tearing your family apart.
You're right.
You don't want to be the one responsible for tearing people who love each other against each other because they want to argue about whether or not what happened to you was your fault or not. You know, because it's going to divide the family.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the one responsible for that.
Yeah, that was another part that just really like hurt my feelings, that even as a grown adult, and even though this person hurt him, he was just like, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
Yeah, because he didn't want his mama rolling over in her grave.
That's crazy. But that's the society that we live in. It's like everyday norms. I know people who parents were raped by their cousins and they still got to see their cousin. And people know about it and they still got to go look at their cousin. Like, that's just... that's one thing I'll never understand about.
And you know, when stuff like that used to happen, they used to be like, oh, that's a white folks thing. That's a white folks thing. It's definitely a black people thing. It definitely happens in the black families, in the black community. You know, people see things happen, brush under the rug. It's not a black white thing. It's a people thing. I
think for being molested, for me, I've never heard it was a white person thing. Being in a relationship with your relative is a white person thing. Being molested by a relative, for me, it was the norm for a black girl to say that she was molested.
But no, think about when the movie Precious came out. Like, people was in
never seen it.
Such an uproar about, like, how can they make a movie like this? How can they put us out there like that? Like, it was something that just
hit
was
home.
Not talked about.
It was It hit home for a lot of people, and they were mad that our dirt was put out there. But I've never seen the movie. I'm never going to see the movie. I have no desires to see that.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
Yeah,
to say the least. I don't know another way to describe it.
Do you feel that they communicated, the people in the documentary spoke to each other before they filmed, like from the counselors that were on there to the women? Do you feel like they spoke to each other? And then the reason I'm asking, it was like some wording seemed to be the same, or phrases seemed to be the same throughout the whole documentary, as if it was not scripted, but we spoke to somebody beforehand and they may have said something to me about what I was going through in that moment, so I just
I think that probably came through with talking to the producers and stuff, you know, with having the interviews beforehand, because they had to interview these people to make sure their stories were credible and all that. So it's like, probably, okay, instead of you saying it like this, maybe you should say it like this. So the coaching that took place in order to get them ready for the show probably, you know, was the same. So that made some of their dialogue be the same.
When you watched it, did you pick up on it? Did it make you feel any
No,
type
I
of
didn't.
way?
I didn't pick up on it. And I was just gonna ask you, like, what were some of the things that they were saying that was kind of the same?
Like, so how everybody said that he introduced them to calling him daddy. Like the wording around him telling them to call him daddy was kind of similar. Or so they would like start a sentence and they was like, no, I'm gonna wait, no, not that, I'm gonna say it this way. I don't know, I didn't write it down.
Well, I think it's maybe because it all happened to them the same way.
That's very true. It could have very well have happened.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he had a pattern of behavior, so her story isn't any different from her story because they all
went through the
same thing.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What would you say to the women? And because we're gonna wrap this up because this is kind of depressing. What would you say to the women that feel like these girls were just fast and R. Kelly isn't doing anything wrong, and we should continue to support him and listen to his music, and the fact that his screams have went up since the documentary aired? So you have a lot of people out there still supporting him.
I hope it don't happen to their daughter.
Or their son.
Or their son, yeah, because it's predators out here that's preying on little boys too.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's all fun and games till it happens to someone you love. And don't say it can't happen to you, because those people that was on those in the docu-series, those was everyday normal people who was living their everyday life. They wasn't like thinking that R. Kelly was going to be fucking their child.
And I think the biggest thing is, just because it's R. Kelly doesn't make it any better. Mm-hmm. If this was just a regular person, we would not be having this conversation.
We would not be having this conversation at all if this was a regular person.
If this was a regular man who was going after young girls and was controlling older women,
everybody would be demanding we nail him to the cross.
Exactly. But because it's R. Kelly, we're going to give him a pass because he is just because
he made
genius.
Step in the Name of Love.
And I Believe I Can Fly. You think they're going to still sing that?
Closet.
You think they're going to still sing I Believe I Can Fly at the
I
fifth grade
sung
graduation?
it at my 5th grade graduation.
I sung it at mine too. I think Marquis sung it in his.
No, I don't think they are.
You think
I don't think anyone's going to stand for that. I think right now this is happening, and I think this is going to forever impact his career. I don't think he's going to recover from this the way he's recovered in the past, because the thing about it, even in the past, we didn't have access to the information that we have access to now. It's like literally information at the tip of your fingertips. Back then, you could control the information that got put out. Now, you can't. I mean, to a certain extent, you can control it, but also you just can't. You can't silence people like you used to be able to silence.
Because I had no idea about the situation that happened in Miami, where the photos got thrown out because they were illegally found. I had no idea that even happened.
Never knew about it.
Like, now I was like, wait, they had still photos, and they threw it out because it wasn't in the.
I'm just still in awe that he is messing with this girl from the tape. Like, I just cannot get over this. Like, that just really boggles me that he is still messing with this exact same girl that all of this stemmed from. And she got to be in her 30s by now.
I'm 35, and I think I was like 18, 19 when the tape came out, and she was like 14. So yeah, she got to be about 30.
But yeah,
I think the whole thing still bothers me. The fact that he's still okay, like the fact that he is still trying to defend himself, and there are still people defending him.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to go back and I'm gonna have to listen to his 19-minute, and it's so sad because now I'm just about to get him another stream. So I
didn't listen to it on his. I went to YouTube and listened to somebody else's. So somebody else got the stream. It wasn't him.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if that makes it any better. But that was just what boggles me, is the fact that there's still so many women and men that are okay with the fact that he's doing this, because like
I just commented on
girl.
the Facebook status a few minutes ago, and somebody was like, and the girl was saying something about she can't believe people are defending R. Kelly, and the man came and he was like, well you support Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and they promote whorism, and I'm like, how is that the same? What are you talking about? Like, it's just, I'm so confused at the fact that so many grown people are like just trying to find any reason to.
And I think it's back to what they said in the documentary. Black girls are not innocent. We are not perceived as innocent. We are perceived as whores. And it's because adults decide that they want to freely be able to have sex with whoever they want to have sex with. And because as an adult, that's what I choose to do. And as an adult, I choose to be naked. And as an adult, I choose to do this. Automatically, the women, the children are seen in the same light.
That's ridiculous.
And that's where it all stems from. Black girls are not perceived innocent.
So, I guess we've already established the fact that the only justice R. Kelly will see from this, the only justice these families will see is just watching him lose money. So, because this will never be
Prosecuted.
Yeah, prosecuted in the criminal court.
I think at this point they don't have anything to prosecute him on.
Because everybody he deals with is of age.
Yeah, everybody is of age. And domestic abuse would have
unless
to have
these
pictures.
females come out and say, he didn't let me leave. Then at that point it'll be kidnapping.
But I don't know. I doubt that would happen.
Yeah. Because even just like the girl said in the video that they picked her up and took her back.
And then the one girl, Dominique, I think her name was, her mom actually saved her during the documentary, and she went back 3 days after the fact. But then they got her back again, but she went back to him.
So she's back with him now?
She came back. So she went back 3 days after they rescued her. She went back to him. But now she's back with her family. So I don't know how long she was there, but she went back after it.
Yeah, so that's not kidnapping because you freely went back.
And most of the women can leave. Most of the women who left when they were just done. So I don't think it's that he's holding them there and telling them that he can't leave. I think that he's just manipulated their minds to where they won't leave. So I don't think that they would have anything to prosecute him on unless somebody had pictures of the bruises or something like that. And I think he's too smart for that. So he's just going to lose everything. I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to eventually lose everything that he has. And that's just going to be his justice. He won't get any more screams or plays from me. I know that.
I hope not. Well, thank y'all for listening. It's been interesting.
We are back. So
yes, Black Girls with No Rhythm.
Black Girls with No Rhythm will be here every week. Hopefully we'll have a couple episodes for you all this week. Everything goes right. Pray for us.